But
That's usually what I got to do. Wake myself up.
Jesus. So, oh yeah, I should probably change the or include the fucking link to the article. I have not kept up massively with the coronavirus thing, but I don't know. In my state, they until further notice, or I think the 30th or whatever the hell, they've closed down like what do you call them? The fuck, my brain ain't working. Restaurants and fucking bars. It's supposedly in fucking California, Illinois, and I forget the other one.
They've had a couple of cases of it here in Louisiana.
One sec. Yeah, it's all over. Let's see. Open that one real quick. Freaking make sure I get Twitter open. Bunk.
Yeah, because we was talking about it there the last couple of days about whether the restaurant I work at will be closed or not. I've heard of a few of them here, a few places here in town. They're closing early now cause of it.
Let me just try and get the link to the channel.
I'm just like, shit, they better not close my place down because, god dang it, I need my paycheck.
Well, it's a possibility. Paste. Bunk.
Like, shit, unless the federal government's going to pay my rent and pay my light bill and everything, shit, my ass going to work.
Well, if they try and come to throw you out, just cough.
Oh, they try to come throw me out there. I'm going to make them run off by doing more than coughing. I'm going to be coughing, sneezing on them, strip down naked, start dancing a funky chicken.
Okay, let's see. Coronavirus cautionary tale from Italy. Don't do what we did. That already caught my attention. Many of us were too selfish to follow suggestions to change our behavior. Now we're in the lockdown and people are needlessly dying. Okay. Rome isn't any where we have chose who to treat and who not. That was the headline March 9th in Illinois, Corriere della Sera, a leading newspaper in Italy, that informed us that hospitals in Italy North, the epidemic of the coronavirus outbreak in our country, were being stretched thin and the healthcare system was at the brink of collapse. And it'll be on screen at a hospital in Bergamo. There we go. One of the cities and one of the most cases of COVID-19, the illness caused by the coronavirus, told the people that the intensive care unit was already at capacity and doctors were being forced to start being making difficult trying trying it's weird decisions, admitting people who are desperately in need medical ventilation based on age, life expectancy, and other factors. Just like wartime, the articles was inexplicably placed on page 15, while the main headline of the newspaper front page relayed the political quarrels over the measures to curb the contagion. Hmm. I know, I feel a little deja vu on that one, maybe. Hmm.
Baby.
The hospital in it'll be on screen, was not only the only hospital in the area dealing with the lack of capacity and rationing of care. The same day I heard from a manager in the Lombardy healthcare system, among the most advanced and well funded in Europe, that he saw anthologists sweeping in the hospital hallways because of the choices that they're going to have to make. God, there's a lot of ads on here. In the day, in the days since, overwhelmed hospitals have since set up tents and makeshift hospital wards and cargo containers, and have placed at the entrances of medical care centers to sort out patients coming in to an increasing pace. At an increasing pace, some of the people who can't get medical care are dying in their homes. As many medical professionals started to describe similar situations on social media and interviews, the Italian Society of Anthologists published extraordinary news guidelines to help Doctors facing ethical dilemmas make sure that the first come, first served criteria that has been used among patients with the same illness and level of risk in ordinary times was not appropriate in dealing with the current emergency. Until last week, the Italian public healthcare system had the capacity to care for everyone. Our country has universal health care. So patients aren't turned away from hospitals here. But in a matter of days, the system was being felled by a virus that I and many other Italians have failed to take seriously. The inability of the medical care system to deal with the flow of patients in critical condition is not one of the problems of this complex medical emergency. It is the problem. The problem, I think. I shouldn't have been surprised. As a journalist, I have read and heard and spoken to several experts explaining that most immediate threats of COVID-19 was that the hospital system becoming overwhelmed, and therefore the most processing need was to avoid too many people being sick at the same time as resources were limited. It's called flattening the curve. But the information is somehow stored in some of the more remote interests in my mind, covered by the incessant flow of bits and charts on the morality rate of the elderly. Political management quarrels over testing and over-testing, marketing collapse, projections on the economy, impact of the epidemic, and so on. Again, I'm feeling some of that sounds at least vaguely familiar. All of this, of course, extremely relevant, but at the same time feels totally irrelevant when the lives are being lost in a situation that was preventable. As of Friday night, 1,266 people have died in Italy due to the outbreak. The last time I looked at a chart, which I think was over the weekend, either Friday or Saturday, if you're in Canada, I think there was one fatality over there. So you should be feeling your Wheaties. Us here in the States, we're not doing nearly as good as that. Mm.
Now, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, dude.
Oh no, I was waiting for you to pipe in since it's my.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's my understanding of it now. The majority of the deaths that come from this coronavirus, the majority of them are actually people with weakened immune systems already, as well as the elderly and the very young. And a lot of these hospitals can't deal with them. That's on the universal health care, like in Europe. If somebody watching from Europe can stop me if I'm wrong here, let me know if I'm wrong. But a lot of their universal health care, while it's good you'll be seen, it could take a long time to be seen. So, and even the care is not all that great. But now here in the United States, because our healthcare is more capitalist based, you can be seen faster, you'll get great care, but it's just going to cost an arm and a leg, and sometimes a pancreas.
Yeah. Let's see. So here's the warning, United States. It didn't have to come to this. We, of course, couldn't stop the emergency of previously unknown deadly virus, but we could have mitigated the situation we are in now, in which people who could have been saved are dying. I and too many others could have taken simply yet morally loaded action. We could have stayed home. What has happened in Italy shows that less than urgent appeals to the public by the government to slightly change habits regarding social interactions aren't enough when terrible outcomes they are designed to prevent are not yet apparent. When they become evident, it's generally too late to act. I and many other Italians just didn't see the need to change our routines for a threat that we could not see. I will be honest with you, I was super bitchy finding out that the restaurants were closing down the other day. I don't know, after reading this article, I guess I'm a little bit more understanding. According to several of the data scientists, Italy is about 10 days ahead of Spain, Germany, France in the epidemic and progression. 13 to 16 days ahead of the United Kingdom and the US. Okay. Let's double check the date on this bitch.
Yeah, no doubt.
March 13th. So this is 3 days old. So if this is accurate, we're 10 days away from apocalypse now. Enjoy it while you got it, if you got it.
Oh, let me go get my baseball bat and go wrap some barbed wire around it. I got to unleash my inner Negan.
I think I know what you meant there, but I'm not going to ask you to clarify. This means countries have the
Walking Dead.
okay. That means those countries that have the opportunity to make measures that today may look excessive and disproportionate, yet from the future, where I am now, are perfectly rational in order to avoid a healthcare collapse. The United States has some 45,000 ICU beds, and even in the moderate outbreak scenario, some 200,000 Americans will need intensive care. That sounds about accurate. Oh, now there is more. Before the outbreak hit my country, I thought I was acting rationally because I screened and processed a lot of the information about the epidemic. But my being well informed didn't make me more rational. I lacked what you might call moral knowledge of the problem, okay? I knew about the virus, but the issue was not affecting me in a significant personal way. It took the terrible ethical dilemma that doctors face in Lombardia to wake me up. I put myself in their shoes and realized that everything should be done in order to avoid those ethical, devastating choices. How do you decide who gets an ICU bed and who doesn't? Age, life, expectancy, how many kids they have, their special abilities. Is the patient professional a relevant factor? Is it right to save middle-aged doctor who will save more lives if he survived as opposed to a younger person who who's been unemployed for the last 12 years? Yes. I know that's going to be really cruel and brutal, but that's really even
That's
not. I think we're past the philosophical. One day we may have to make this bullshit choice while we sit around the bar and wax on about it because they took the bar away. Mm.
that almost sounds almost like the eugenics program in a sense, you know.
Well, we're like I said, we're not at the philosophical stage. We're at a point here where if we were ready,
Yeah,
if we were ready, we wouldn't have to make hard, tough choices. But the good news is, you nor I will not have to make these choices. People at the um, medical level will. That'll be interesting if anyone's around to press, lawsuit charges later on. There are
should.
kinds of theoretical questions that you are asked to weigh in leadership classes at business school, but this is not a personal test. It's real lives. Yeah. The way to avoid or mitigate all of this in the United States and elsewhere is to do something similar to what Italy, Denmark, Finland are doing now, but without wasting the few messy weeks in which we thought a few local lockdowns and canceling public gatherings and warmly encouraging works from home would be enough to stop the spread of the virus. We all know that wasn't nearly enough. Again, for any bronies who are in the stream, Windy City Con has been rescheduled. I would put off, if you've already lost your plane tickets, buying new ones to get that new one, just to make sure that that's not getting bumped. If you're going to BabsCon, I've heard from two fairly strong sources that don't wish to be named. That will be, its cancellation will be announced either Tuesday or Wednesday, official. I hope I'm wrong because I have airplane tickets for that shit myself, and the way I've made peace with it, I guess I just had 2 bad days at the casino.
Mhm.
That money will not be coming back, unfortunately, unless flights get grounded, and then I'll be like, yeah, money back. Let's see. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister Giuseppe, did I actually get that right? Kant announced the late. Yeah, I had one moment of brilliance and fucked it up afterwards. Announced the latest steps in the process that has progressively turned Italy into a fully quarantined country. Shops are mandated to be closed at all times, with the exceptions of pharmacies, food stores, newsstands, as the government wisely considers information a primary need. I wonder, do movie theaters count as restaurants?
Probably so, because I know they're talking about if any gathering of 250 people or more, they don't want to do. Uh,
I have to
to
get
helps.
I have to get the cheap shot in. So for all you 90 or so people going to see Equestria, you technically aren't getting canceled. One of our friends, or at least one of the people on staff, that did security canceled. I forgot what their reason was. Not that we would ever suggest it had anything to do with sickness, but I think they made the right decision. People who still go to the office are requested to prove absolutely necessity to do so by signing a certificate that must be submitted and vetted by the police. Transgressors face up to 3 months in jail and a fine. Going out for physical activity is permitted provided it's short and solitary. Schools and universities, which have been shut down since March 4th, will be closed until April 3rd. And the date will likely be extended. Yeah, so my dad was being kind of a chiding asshole about this on the news, where he's like, "We're gonna shut down the schools to prevent contamination," and he's like, "Guess what the kids did? They probably went out and hung out together the minute school
Mm-hmm.
closed down." And nope, nobody did any thinking. Life in lockdown is hard, but also an exercise in humanity. Our collective well-being makes our little individual wishes look a little bit whimsical and small-minded. Unfortunately, until it starts happening in people's specific backyards, like mine, we we're all guilty of it. Oh, it's not happening over here. It's not my problem. It's, oh, that's the European problem. Oh, that's a state over's problem. Oh, fuck, that's happening over here. Um, and on top of that, I know a lot of people, and it'd be cool to play the moral high ground, because I wasn't dumb enough to scream out into the ether. I'm getting tired of hearing about it. I mean, it hasn't even hit us as hard as it's going to. So if you're tired of it now, boy, you have no idea. It's about to get way worse. My wife and I work from home, or at least we try to. We help our kids with their homework, following the instructions their teachers, and send every morning via voice, messenger, and videos in moving attempts to keep their relationship with their students. So far, my two young sons are less bored than we thought they'd be and are coping well. And thank God for our small shared rooftop where we can run for a little while in the afternoon, at least until the woman on the fifth floor complains about the noise during the nap time. Either I or my wife goes out once a day and takes a short walk and gets some food when we need. Despite cops being stationed on the street to dissuade everyone from leaving their homes, we both think that there's still too many people out and about. We read, we pray, we play soccer in the hallway. It's time of reflection and silence, a moment in which some big questions emerge, like why exactly we needed not to have a TV. Strangely, it's also a moment in which our visually individualistic, self centered outlook is waning a bit. In the end, each of us giving up our individual freedom in order to protect everybody, especially the sick and the elderly, when everybody's health is at stake. True freedom is to follow instructions. I I think that's well intentioned, but I don't find that last line is exactly applicable.
Hmm.
It's
What gets me is most of this just people crying wolf. Like I said, most of the people that are dying from this are people that already have weakened immune systems that would die from just the flu or something. More people have died from the flu than this coronavirus, for God's sakes.
I,
This corona.
I,
Oh, I'm
I,
sorry.
I originally said I'll start worrying when I see the first YouTuber I know get it. I don't know if this is true or not, and I'd feel bad enough for him. The guy's name is Twoon. He does some videos goofing on various people. His his YouTube channel had gotten hacked, and a fucking I know YouTube wouldn't respond or anything like that. It was quite obvious that they were shilling some kind of fucking thing that scammed his viewers. Which good on you, Susan. Great job that you let that stay up for as long as you did. So it's one thing that he already got dicked over by YouTube, but now he's supposedly has the coronavirus. Some people have all the worst luck. Up here, random pool
Oh
guy.
shit.
We need to expose as many people as possible to the Wuhan virus. Only the strong will survive. It's what the Grandpappy Nurgle would want. Ah, lol.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. I I don't know if it specifically is something that you could get once and you'll never get it again. People are comparing.
Probably just.
Yeah, people are comparing it to the flu, so perhaps not.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's basically like just really just a bad cold is really all it really is. Like take the whatever cold you get, just multiply it by like 5 or something. If you got a decent immune system, and you take care of yourself properly, you'll bounce back from it,
So do you think it's
just like you would.
well? Do you think it's worse than pneumonia?
I think it's like just a stage under pneumonia, if memory serves me right, from what I've read
Because I've
about it.
had pneumonia. That's some shit. that's
Yeah,
that's some garbage right there. And
yeah, but it is survivable. I mean, there's been a lot of people who caught the corona and wound up surviving from it.
well, there's the other issue that I've seen in a lot of articles and such that you can carry it after you look like you've recovered, and you can actually supposedly some people carry it without displaying symptoms. So yeah, your point there about saying you could theoretically have it and be absolutely fine and potentially get all your friends and family sick.
That's a lot of illnesses already. Like as there is an incubation time, you might just be a breeding ground of it and spread it to somebody else before it really kicks in on you. It mainly just depends on your immune system as well as the immune system of people around you. But that's where just common sense comes in. Wash your hands if you're gonna cough into your elbow, cough into your shirt for God's sakes or something, so you ain't blowing it all over everybody's faces. And
Oh,
for the
I'm just
oh,
reading
I'm
off the
sorry.
whole guy's thing here. I was in
Yeah.
bed for 3 days with a terrible pain, fighting it, fever dreams. It passed through my town. I don't recall it being an issue ever again.
Yeah, I ain't heard of no outbreaks of the corona here in Alexandria, but I've heard there was a few in I believe around New Orleans area there was some was discovered, and I think a couple cases up in Shreveport. That's about a 2 hour drive to 4 hour drive, respectively from where I am. But I know right now they got all the schools shut down until I believe April 13th, and a lot of restaurants here in town are closing early and everything.
I walked by the TV when my dad had it on. He was watching the UFC in Brazil or something like that. And
Hmm.
back in the day, it's been a hot minute since I'd watched it on the regular. When they opened up in Brazil, even during the preliminaries, the early matches, they were packed. That audience was dead. Now, I don't know if that had more to do with the UFC putting out a more substandard product these days or, recent events. But I'm told that the show, it was a show from the 15th. So yesterday, I believe. 15th,
Yeah,
14th.
and I got a buddy of mine. He's raising hell right now because I think they're canceling the WWE event that was supposed to be taking place in town.
They postponing WrestleMania.
I believe so because of
Yeah.
this Corona shit.
Yeah. Takes an awful lot to make Vince McMahon want to lose money.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
It's got to be rough.
Not enough apparently for Dana White, but definitely enough for Vince. Are you contagious up to a month and actually being sick? I don't know, Icarus. Um, I wouldn't suggest this myself, but I'm curious to peek into a hospital just to see how packed they are right now.
Look at all that noise. I don't want to go around them sons of
I
bitches. So
mean,
I can save my.
if I had a hazmat suit, I'd poke my head in. That's gonna freak everybody out.
Oh God!
Sound like the fucking pyro from TF2.
Either that or walking up in there that big bright orange hazmat suit. Hello, everybody. No reason to panic.
Pay no attention to the man in the hazmat suit.
Everything is fine. Have a
Walk.
little Geiger counter or
Yeah, I
something in
was
your
just about to say, have a Geiger counter. Jesus.
Everything is perfectly okay. Oh God, what gets me now too with all this shit going around, with all the people hoarding toilet paper and hand sanitizer and shit. Good God, drug dealers gonna be dropping their drugs and selling out those grams of fucking hand sanitizer. Like, hey man, I got that good sanitizer right here. 50 bucks for a bag.
I did look on Amazon recently for toilet paper. It's backed up for like a month on shipping and shit like that. So if you're looking to just do your shopping online, that might not work for everything.
That's why. And what gets me is people hoarding this shit. Like, come on, it's coronavirus. It's like a cold. It's not explosive diarrhea. You're gonna be sneezing and coughing, not shitting your brains out. People, use some common sense.
I wonder if truck stops are going to be closed.
Oof, that's a good question.
That is a very good question for a couple of reasons. Those are essential to truckers, and if you're making that life a little bit harder than it is, then with supplies being low, that might not recover nearly as well as you want it to.
Oh yeah, there's already shortages for over the road drivers and CDL drivers in a lot of places. My God, any companies looking for truck drivers, boy, they're desperately looking for drivers. And shit, I mean, they'll practically hire anybody if they got a CDL license. Just they'll snatch you off the street. You got a CDL? Get your ass in a cab. Start driving. That's how bad they need people. And you start shutting down with where truckers can't be rolling. There's a lot of freight that can't move.
Actually, let me look that up. Blank the screen real quick to see just exactly when the shutdown is, so I don't have to speculate.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Now I was also watching videos about people fighting over the toilet paper and everything else. Like, oh, good God, people, calm down.
Let's see. Illinois restaurant closing. Oh, here we go. I got another article.
Oh.
Illinois, Ohio announced on Sunday that they'll be closing all restaurants and bars in response to the growing COVID-19 pandemic. We will be issuing an order closing all bars, restaurants in Ohio, beginning at 9 tonight. So yeah, I think we're already fucked. Mike DeWine tweeted while noting the establishment would be allowed to continue carry-out deliveries. Yes, I've heard that yesterday when I went to Domino's. So you're either ordering or not at all. We can't have people congregate and seated, he said. Shortly afterwards, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and his state also would order restaurants and bars to close to dine-in customers by the end of Monday. The closures would last from March 16th to March 30th, he said. I believe today is the 16th, so 15 more days.
Oh shit!
I'm already missing the buffet. I wish we would have had at least today. We are working with restaurants. It's probably why they did it that way too. They didn't want everyone going, well, fuck, we better run out and go eat real quick one more time.
Yeah, no shit. And everybody starts getting swamped.
Yeah. Across the state to see if restaurants can safely keep their kitchens open so the restaurants can continue food delivery to people at their homes. Pritzker said at the news conference, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, the governor's decision comes amid growing pressures for state and city governors to act in a number of coronavirus infections in the U.S. rises. There were more than 3,000 cases in 49 states, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virginia Islands, and Washington, D.C. as of Sunday afternoon. I'm aware that this will impact many other good workers. I can't tell you how sorry I am, but we will work to mitigate the suffering. It's our goal for everyone to get through this, DeWine said in a statement on Twitter. Every day we delay, many people will die. If we do not act and get some distance between people and our healthcare systems in Ohio, our healthcare systems, Ohio will not hold up. I was about to say that wording would have been real wonky. The loss won't only be those impacted by COVID-19, but the danger is also to everyone who needs hospital care, to other issues, he added. The announcement from Ohio and Illinois, I believe California is also part of that, came shortly after the D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced new restrictions on bars, restaurants, and a nation's capital. Beginning Sunday, establishments will not be allowed to provide bar seating, serve standing customers, or serve more than 6 customers at a single table. No more than 250 people will be permitted to gather in a single space, and all nightclubs in the district are ordered to cease operations immediately. Nashville, Tennessee Mayor John Cooper also is reportedly asking for states to shutter all bars and limited capacities in restaurants. The response also comes amid criticisms of the Trump's administration's lack of testing carried out across the country. Vice President Pence is stated to give an update on Sunday on what the administration is going to ensure Americans get across to testing. President Trump also issued travel restrictions to China, Iran, Europe, UK, as the U.S. seeks to quell the growing number of cases. The other day, I managed to catch a little bit. I hate to segue to the election. Can't imagine why. Kill this damn thing. Fuck. I was watching Biden go heads up with fucking Bernie, and he was doing pretty good. I
Damn, he
was
must have took
a
his Alzheimer pill.
Yeah, I was a little concerned because his little razzle dazzle about like granting emergency care and stuff, and I was like, he didn't look like a doddering, unhinged loon like all the clips usually show him as. Heavens,
Oh, I still.
he seemed like a politician, and I was like, God, perhaps I shouldn't have just stuck to all just the meme coverage you were saying.
Oh, I was gonna say the main footage that I saw that I loved, but when it come to Biden was whenever he called that one guy a horse's ass,
Oh, was that the
telling me
one
it's
where
full of shit.
was that the one where he was arguing about fucking the Second Amendment?
Yeah, he was arguing with the guy. Was either at an auto factory or steel mill or something. I think
Well,
up in
let,
Michigan. I
let,
think.
let me clarify. I am not pro Biden. I am not endorsing him. I am simply saying that I saw him. He was capable of. He might not immediately get smoked on the debate stage, which I was like, oh, that might be worth watching when it comes heads up to him and the Donald.
I thought it was funny as hell. Whenever he started talking about the AR-14 or the AR-16 or whatever, I'm like, what the hell is that?
He's not trying to
Like,
do a
hold on.
he's not trying to do the raise sympathy for being out of touch. I guess that wouldn't be the. Can't imagine how that would get someone elected, but I feel like that's been tried by politicians before.
Yeah, it seems to recall it's somebody fucking up like that. I couldn't remember who.
Let's see. Pasta Girl.
But
I know it started in California last night. Okay.
yeah, and I know here in town, what they're doing at the restaurant that I work at is they're having the servers go back after the customers leave, spraying the table with like I think hydrogen peroxide or something, spraying the table and the chairs down, wiping them down real quick and disinfecting them.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, they're going and doing that shit left and
Is
right, and I'm just
isn't
like, wow.
Biden? Yeah, isn't Biden going senile? That does seem to be the case. That wasn't my point. I'm not saying I would vote for him, elect for him. I said the brief clip that I saw on Twitter, where he was going heads up and debating like health. It would have been like the hashtag. I don't know if it
But
was.
then again, Biden was debating against Bernie Sanders, wasn't he?
Yes.
Oh God, anybody could beat him. You're basically arguing with a freaking marionette of a corpse. My God, he looks like the Crypt Creeper's dead uncle or something. For God's sakes, I mean anybody that can be run off his own stage by a couple of women screeching and hollering left and right. Come on now, they ain't got no damn backbone. Or if they do got a backbone, it's made out of pure damned spaghetti noodles.
Jesus.
Like shit, here he is at his own damn rally trying to run, and he's getting run off his own stage. Like seriously?
Okay. I went to a hashtag on Twitter. Quarantine for life. This one seems like it's worth a giggle. Pause. Let's go full screen. Good stuff. I'm old.
No, so they start quarantining around here and shit. I'm like, oh hell, I'm gonna be sitting here on my couch, holding, making sure it don't run away. As long as they don't turn my electricity off, I'll be happy. Although my landlord will be pissed because I'll be having to call them. Hey, I can't pay the rent because I ain't allowed to go out.
Well, they shouldn't be allowed to freaking throw you out then. Anyways.
Yeah, no kidding.
Toilet paper won't save you. Wash your damn hands. Ah.
Yeah, it's like, good lord. Well, I think I shared a picture in Limbo the other day there about people being mummified with toilet paper. Is that how they think it's going to protect them when they're buying ungodly numbers of rolls? Well, they're just going to start mummifying themselves looking like King Tut or something?
Good old Ben Garrison. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an overreaction.
It's like, good lord, if wrapping up myself in toilet paper and looking like a damn extra from the Mummy or something would help, oh hell, consider myself King Bubba Tommen.
Jesus.
I'll be holding a plunger in one hand and I'll be holding like a candy cane in the other. That way I can look more like a mummy from Egypt or something.
Well, I think I got this point across. There's something else I have to work on. I finally got Flutter Rocket's call where he talks to the police. I was there for a bit of that, but not the lion's share. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Let's see anything left. All right, you guys have been cool. Hillary Clinton was syphilis and Biden was Alzheimer's. DNC knows how to pick 'em. Ah, lol. All right, it's
Oh
called
Lord.
time of death on